So here are some global marketplace success tips that I've found to be useful. First off, the most important thing is have a global mindset. If you think small, the whole global thing is just not going to connect with you. So you really have to have a global mindset. Think big. I went to a conference or a networking function a few years ago in Austin, Texas, and it really inspired me. And this was around 2005. And he said, look, in business today, you have to have the mindset of going global on day one. It's not that hard with today's technology. And I really embraced that. I mean, I've embraced that for many years when I moved from America to Australia. And I got to experience delivering training in the South Pacific and in Hong Kong as part of my role at the University of Canberra and also the Australian Sports Commission. So I was just so inspired by that, and then I was re-inspired when I went to this networking function in Austin. So having that global mindset of going global on day one, and even if you're an existing business, just say today we're going to embrace going global on day one. And it doesn't have to be big. It can just even be small. Choose one city in a country. Mumbai itself in India, it's a city of 20 million people. I mean, that's the size of Australia. Why do you need to take on all of India? Just even taking on a small portion in a country can be quite overwhelming for a business. So keep it simple, yet still have that global mindset. Do your market research. I'm going to share in another segment of using the internet to help you with your market research. That is so important. You need to have that research before you go into a country. It's no different than deciding to go into a particular market in your home country to really find out where the opportunities are. Network with global-minded people. Currently I'm in the ACT Exporters Network. I've developed and started the Gold Coast Exporters Network here on the Gold Coast in Australia. Join with like-minded people, those people that want to go overseas or want to do things offshore or want to bring in products from overseas. Just thinking that way is so important, and being able to work collaboratively in that space is just so highly beneficial. Protect your brand. We're not going to go into that too much here, but it's really important to find an intellectual property lawyer that understands that international space. And it might be to have these discussions in another country to find out what protection there is in that particular country for your brand. This can also include your idea, your patent as well, because each country has different legislations and different parameters. Maintain high ethical standards. This is very important too. Some people they lower their ethical standards to go into another country, and what I have seen is it usually hurts them in the long run. So don't cut corners, just keep on maintaining those high ethical standards. The right deal will come along at the right time. All global business is personal and relationship driven. Some countries more than others. In today's world, the marketers and people talking about sales, they discuss how important relationships are. It is even more so when you deal with overseas clients. I found that India is all about relationships. So they're not very quick to do a deal, but they are it is a high importance for them to develop a relationship with you. Whereas in the US, certain people that you deal with, it may be let's do the deal because time is of the essence, and then that relationship will occur over time. So once again, become very familiar with the culture that you're working in. Develop cultural sensitivity. This is also important. One of the things that when I first went to India with never having been there before, I said, well, I wanted to just see if I like the country first. And if I don't like the country, then I'm not going to do business there. And when I went there, I had the mindset of I just want to learn about this culture, so then I can customize our training materials for them. And, where are the sensitivities within that? If you're selling products to women in say a Muslim country, you need to understand the mindset, how to sell to that population, all right? So you need to be very culturally sensitive as well as sensitive to the religious practices of a particular country. Use online and offline translators. Once again, if you're going to a country that is predominantly non-English speaking, make sure you go there with a translator. The other thing is that if you do have an online business, today you have such things as Google Translate. There's no reason why your website should not be in another language, especially with today's things. The other thing too is that if you are going into another country, you may even consider developing a web page specifically for the language of that country. Once again, being very aware of the translation and what message that may have in that country. So make sure that you have people who are double checking on that. And then lastly, localize. You may have to localize the content. One of the things that we had done in going into a couple other countries is we made sure that we would personalize or customize the content according to their needs. What was interesting, and when I went to India, I thought, oh, the great opportunity there is to put stuff on smartphones because there's so many mobile phones that are sold per month. And to my surprise, the client that we were working with, they came back and they said, look, we want it all correspondence. We want it paper-based, and really mobile learning, e-learning is not a real high priority. So you really need to understand that local market and what they want. These aren't all the success tips to take into play. These are ones that I found through our business that were very important to become successful in that global marketplace.